Welcome to the 100-Day Survival Challenge. Hello and welcome to the 100-Day Survival Challenge. On day one, I started off by chopping down some birch wood and crafting a wooden axe and pickaxe. Then, after killing a sheep, it was time to find a place to live. I didn't want to stray too far from the spawn, just because I felt like being by the spawn was necessary in case I did actually die. So I dug into the ground to look for cobblestone. And then once I had my cobblestone, I made a stone pickaxe and a stone axe. I proceeded by chopping even more birch wood, and a lot of it, in order to make a house. I built the perimeter of the house in record time. I established a third story, only because I decided I'd use one of the rooms for an inventory. I put the roof together really quick too. I almost had it done on day one. But the sun started to go down, and I had no food, no shield, no armor, no weapons. I was screwed. My only option was to dig into the ground and look for ore, which I found surprisingly quick, finding diamond in the very first cave I came across. I also found iron, but to start with, I only found one piece of iron, which was enough to make a shield, but the night was full of danger, and I had used all of my wood. So I went to level 15 in order to look for more iron and coal, but I had no luck at all. I mined all night, finding nothing but lapis. I climbed into day 2 and began chopping more birch wood in order to continue making the roof, which I finished up surprisingly quickly. I fixed my mistake and made my way over to the end of the roof before taking a tumble down to the ground. One pesky bit of birch log took the mic to drop, and I had become very tired of mining birch wood. The endeavour was tedious at this point. I squared off one room by filling the outside perimeter with birch wood and secured some safety at long last. Then I made a furnace and ate some scran. I was really hungry. A creeper waited for me in my cave, but stood no chance as I am a professional Minecraft player. I ate some glowberries, which I was really fortunate to have, before then finding even more iron above the original piece I had found the night before. I smoldered the iron and made a pickaxe. Then I finally went over and mined the diamond that I had found the night before. I was so psyched. I also mined the lapis. It was very blue. I found it enchanting. I decided that I would brace the knight because I wanted to make a shield. And I figured it wasn't too bad. I'd make a shield and then kill any mob. But little to my surprise, the mobs were everywhere. So what I did is I mined the blocks of wood, exposing an entrance for a spider to pounce, and it attacked. Managed to smite it, made a shield, and hovered for a slight moment before realizing a creeper was right behind me and blew up the side of my house. I repaired the side of my house and then got cocky and decided I would leave the building to see how many mobs there actually were. I had decided that because I had my shields, I was finally ready to fight. I fought 2 zombies, which were easy enough to fight, but then, before long, I was being swarmed by mob after mob. Spiders, skeletons, zombies, you name it, they were after me. I tried pouncing beyond a zombie, but he gave me a left and a right, and I felt like I was dizzy. I felt like I was going to drop to the ground. I found some random XP on the ground and then fled to the water. The water was my only hope at this point. I was close to death. I ate some zombie flesh that didn't taste too good, so I hunted down some fish and munched on that instead. I rose from the ocean and found a picturesque day 3 and heard a dolphin in the distance calling out for me. Then I found a drowned and decided to smite him too. The same dolphin tried to help me by pushing me towards the shore, but led us both into a trap. A zombie set me on fire, and a skeleton stood not too far behind, launching arrow after arrow at me. It was risky because I was on very low health, so I held my shield out and slowly made my way towards the shore. Once there, I made my escape, but then a creeper creeped up on me. I ate some more of that rotten flesh. It gave me an icky stomach. So I decided to go fishing to hunt down more food. But this proved to be a tedious waste of my time, as it took far too long to catch anything. Day 3 was drawing to an end, but I still had no food, no coal, so no light source, and the mobs were out there. My only option was to brave the mine again, to search for more coal. I found plenty of iron, but no coal at all. Then the next day, I tried to attack a creeper with my fishing rod, and it blew up in my face, almost killing me. Fishing again proved to be a complete waste of time, so I decided I would go and hunt some livestock. I found 1 pig and 1 sheep, and for a minute I thought there was no food to be sourced anywhere. Then I finally made my first iron chest plate and finished the upstairs by adding windows. And then I decided I was not going to rest until I finally found some blooming coal. After mining yet more iron, I finally found some coal. I had light at long last. Trust me, I took plenty. I found gold as well. But then I decided I wouldn't rest until I found myself some diamond. So I went low. But I gave up after a little while because I decided that I could not be bothered to mine any more deep slates. I found a huge cave full of algae and foes. But I didn't stick around for too long because those foes were all over me and I didn't feel ready for a big cave. I crossed the river to see what was on the other side, and then, out of nowhere, I was attacked by pillagers. 3 of them. They came out of nowhere. I leaped and I bounded in order to jump and crush and smite and all of that, all of that. But I defeated them and they left me with a tag. They tagged me. They left me marked. After facing off the pillagers, I knew that I was ready for the big cave. So I made my way down and begun hunting. I was met by many foes. A creeper almost blew up in my face. But then I found more diamond. Only 1 piece, but it was enough. It was a good omen. Day 5 ended, and at the beginning of day 6, I finished upstairs, making the window, and making everything look picturesque. The view was amazing. I knew that I needed a bed to make my days shorter, so I took to the road. After filling a bed of sugarcane near my home by the river, I took to the road and began out looking for all livestock I could find, more coal, and most of all, wool to make a bed with. The road was fierce, and I met many foes, but I knew, in my heart, that if I kept going, I would make it back home alive. I found pumpkins as well. Day 8 finally arrived, and I found my way home. I was so proud of myself. So, I went up to my new bedroom to fit my new bed in. And I had to put slabs underneath the bed because I had slabs as a floor in that room. But the bed fit perfectly, and it made the bare room with its new addition look great. The only thing left to do in terms of decorating was fill the middle floor with a load of chests to make an inventory room. So at the end of day 8, I went out to chop more birch wood, and then at the beginning of day 9, I finally filled the room with all of the chests. The chests made a great decoration for the middle room. I adventured back through the algae cave and came across a humongous cave with a humongous lava pool in it. Killed a spider, saw an axolotl, and found even more diamond. Crossed an extremely dangerous lava pool, and again found even more diamond. Made my way back home, and I made a diamond chest plate out of the diamond that I had found. Next, I started on the wheat farm by digging up some dirt, collecting a bucket of water or two, and then hoeing the farm before planting. And that's how I ended day 10. On day 11, I saw a tortoise. Farmed a bit more, and then I cut down a load of birch leaves with a pair of shears that I made. Landed a sick MGL, and that was day 11. On day 12, I used the birch leaves to form a perimeter around my farm. I created an outlined bush. Then I dug up my path and put dirt down, and then used a shovel to so-and-so the path. I made a stone cutter and then put a wall around my new path. Then it was storming out, so I took a look through the window. Day 13 started off very pleasant, but I had no idea what type of dark omen was about to possess my feeble little mind that day. As I decided to go back into the cave, I battled many cave spiders at a mine shaft. I was trying my best to dismantle their spawners, and they just kept coming at me, one at a time. And I ended up running out of food whilst I was in the mine shaft, not realising until it was last minute that I had no food. And then it was then, when I was on my way back, that 2 skeletons went crazy and almost killed me, leaving me on 1 heart. I had to run for my life. And then, on the way back to my house, I battled with creepers, zombies, spiders, skeletons. They all came at me, one at a time. It must have been a Friday because day 13 was horrific. But I got home and ate some well-deserved food. Days passed, and seasons changed. It felt as if time was in super flow, super speed, and before long, I was on day 50. On day 51, I found a desert temple with surprising ease. I busted my way through the floor, made my way down in waterfall, and checked the chests. To my surprise, I found Silk Touch in one of the chests. Then I mined the TNT and made my way home. Once I arrived on day 52, I found an Enderman in my house. So of course, I decided I would smite him too. I took his pearl and then decided I would make a nether portal. It was time. I was ready for the netherworld. But the main reason why I made the nether portal was because I decided I wanted to go and find a nether fortress, hunt down a blaze, get a blaze rod, make an Eye of Ender, and then make an ender chest. I found that I had a pretty good spawn in the netherworld. I only had to traverse through a basalt biome, and I found a nether fortress really fast. The fortress looked so deadly. I busted my way through a few more walls, and before long, I had arrived in the fortress. It was go time. Showdown. I found the spawn, and we began the fight. The fight was treacherous, perilous. It went on for quite some time. I got into a bit of a situation and almost died. I was close to death, but I managed to get away, and then I found one blaze on the bridge who had lost a considerable amount of health. So I took him out with ease and made my way out of the fortress. I mined some quartz, found the nether portal, and went to bed. On day 53, I made an ender chest, and then mined it for good measure with my Silk Touch pickaxe. I was worried about lightning striking my house, so I decided to turn the whole house into stone. I know from past experience, I've had houses set on fire before after being struck by lightning. Besides, it made a really cool effect. I also covered the roof with stone too. It took the mick to do. Then, on day 55, I was attacked by a skeleton who had popped up through my hole in the ground. I broke my axe attacking him, but then finally bested him with my sword. The hole now caused me concern. I farmed a little, but because it was raining so heavily, I decided to get an early night, ending the day there. In the morning, I made a trap door for my hole, and then I started out looking for diamond. I found tons of ore, and I must have been mining for more than one day. It seemed like forever. It went on for so long, and I only found 9 pieces of diamond. The next day, I made a pair of diamond leggings, and I knew I was ready to hunt down ancient debris. It was about time. I needed really good armor, so I went to the netherworld and mined my way down to level 15. Then, once I was there, I tried using TNT in a basalt biome, and it did nothing. It had no effect whatsoever. I searched for a while, avoiding the lava, and then bam, finally, I had found ancient debris. I was psyched! After finding the first pieces, I had a taste for it, and I was addicted. I had to find more immediately, and more I found. I took my debris home, made a smithing table, and took my chest plate off, ready to upgrade. There you have it. I had upgraded my chest plate to a netherite chestplate. I had the strongest armor in the game. Feeling very happy, I went to bed. I spent day 59 and day 60 looking for more ancient debris. I had finally gathered enough to upgrade my pickaxe, my sword, and my axe. Many days passed, and I did hunt even more ancient debris, and a lot of it. But I couldn't help but think to myself about how the Ender Dragon lay dormant, awaiting a brave traveller to come and smite, to bring demise to its long neck. You know? I couldn't help but think about it. And besides, look at how tanked I had become. Strapped in arm and leg, covered in netherite armor. I was bawling. I had gone out in search for a village because I wanted to try to find some decent trades and get some enchantments for my armor. But I stumbled on a dark forest, and then I found a woodland mansion. I took down many vindicators with quite some ease, to be fair. But then I came across an evoker and the vexes, and they were really tough. However, once I got into the swing of things, I started taking them down with ease, just like the vindicators. I mean, yeah, sure, the vexes still gave me a bit of hassle, but I got around it in the end. I ate some food, killed a vindicator, and stole a load of bookshelves. Then I started killing vexes. I felt something going on. I knew something was about to go down, and I took a step to the left, and just about avoided the evoker's attack. Then I marched in, and I struck him. Once, twice, 3 times. Bam, he was dead. I had defeated the woodland mansion. I found their most precious treasure, and it was time to get out of there. Once I arrived home on day 85, I put my totem of undying into my ender chest for safekeeping. Chopped some wood and killed an enderman. Then, on day 86, I laid a foundation with bookshelves ready for my enchantment table. I know it was late in the game, but I had only just decided that I wanted an enchantment table. I got Fire Protection 5 on my chestplate, and I knew I was ready to go and hunt some blazes. I spent the rest of the day farming XP and enchanting other equipment. Day 87, I went back to the Netherworld and hunted blazes at the fortress. It was a bloodbath. Total bloodbath. My Fire Protection 5 was invincible. They didn't stand a chance. I took some serious revenge. Lastly, I went back to the Netherworld and found an Ender City to hunt down Endermen. With that, I had all the pearls, I had the blaze rods, I was ready to find the Ender Dragon, the stronghold. So, on day 88, I got my blaze rod out, got my Ender pearls out, and made Eyes of Ender. Found out which way to go, and made my leave. The weather was delightful. I had a great time, and didn't find the road to be too dangerous whatsoever. Eventually, I found my way to a village, and then stayed the night. The next day, I carried on following the Eyes of Ender, jumped over a few trees, went the wrong way, figured out which way to go, turned back, and then found the position I needed to dig. I dug my way down into the stronghold, and I was ready. I was ready for a fight. The stronghold was really dark, but I found my way. I grappled with a couple of skeletons, and then found some diamond in a chest. So I put my diamond in my ender chest. Then I carried on some, found the library, grappled with another skeleton, and then I finally found the stronghold room. I fought a couple of silverfish, dismantled their spawner, placed 3 Eyes of Ender, got my ender chest out, and finished off filling the portal. Bam! It was open. I had access. That dragon was doomed. Picked up my ender chest and made my way in. I was pumped. I was ready. I was going to show that ender dragon what I was made of. But first, I had to get over. So I started bridging. I was in the arena. The dragon welcomed me with a ball of dragon breath, and I got to work on those beacons, taking them out one by one. The explosion was mighty. I towered up to most of them because I hadn't brought many arrows with me, and I had a lack of blocks too, so I had to keep mining more and more blocks. After a while, they were all destroyed, and the dragon perched. I went in for the first attack. My sword was mighty, and I took aim, hitting the dragon with an arrow. I think it was my last one. Oh no, I had another. And then round 2 began. Attacking, attack, attack, attack. My arms started to ache, but I kept attacking that long, blooming neck of hers. I remembered my totem of undying, so I got it from my chest, and her dragon breath surrounded the area. Battle 3 commenced, and she whacked me into the air with her wing. Luckily, not too high. This was it, the finale. I went in, lunging, striking, grinding, gripping, and then BAM! She died. And I was victorious. I watched her decay above my eyes. But then 2 Endermen attacked me. I had no idea why. I collected all of the XP, but I had done it. I had won. I was the victor. She was the one to die. Not me, her. She did get one last laugh. I tried to claim her egg, but it kept teleporting away. It kept jumping all over the place. I bridged my way up towards the portal. I had decided to make a platform because the portal was over the top of the void, and I did not fancy falling in. So I tossed the pearl and accessed the gate. I spawned right on a city. It looked glorious. I pulled out my ender chest, got some food, and ate. I planned to make another platform at the portal. But whilst I was mining enderstone, the shulkers kept shooting me, so I went over to examine. But they left me no option. I had to attack. I kept floating into the air. I tried to break in through a window, but more of their attacks hit me. I eventually got to the ground and killed one of the shulkers, only to then be lifted up into the air again by one of their attacks. I deflected a few more cannons, and then fell to the ground. It was time to make the platform. I started mining blocks, and made my way up to the portal. I went back down to mine more blocks, then finally finished off the portal. It was covered. It was safe. It was time to explore the Enderworld and find the Elytra. I knew that if I just kept bridging from platform to platform, island to island, I would have a route back to the portal. But let me tell you, it was tough work. I found the Enderworld to be extremely alienating. The place was so dull. I carried on bridging, and I carried on mining more and more enderstone. I had already passed 2 ender cities before I finally found an ender city with a ship. I was ecstatic. I lunged in for the attack, attacking shulkers, fighting, sparing no box whatsoever. And I kept floating. It was ridiculous just how much floating I did. Needless to say, I felt frustrated. But I kept working my way up, climbing that huge tower. I found a chest that was full to the brim with diamond. I had to build a barricade around myself in order to mine the ender chest that was just there on display. I had to take it. I mean, I already had one, but I'm greedy like that. I deflected a bit more, unboxed, and then there you had it. I was at the top. All that was left was making my way across to the ship. Not an easy task. You see, whilst I was on my narrow bridge, the shulkers kept shooting their cannons at me, and I would float into the air, and I would be above the most unreal drop, and I had to MGL, and it happened to me a couple of times. They shot me, and I kept flying up into the air, and then having to MGL from this huge height. It was so risky. Everything hung on the line. But I persevered, and I made it onto the ship. There, on the brewing stand, I found some potions of instant heal. I made my way into the room, past an Enderman, and fought the last shulker. He gave in, and then there, I had it. I took the Elytra. I went for my first flight, and I was so overjoyed. Words cannot describe how I felt in this moment. I landed on the ground and looked back at the ship and the city. I had done it. I had the Elytra. I made my way back to the original portal. Once I was there, I tried to fight an Enderman to get a pearl, but he didn't drop one. So I decided to use the water bucket instead. Once I got through, I found that I had nearly fallen into the void. It was unbelievable how close I was. I was on the corner of my platform. I made my way back to the overworld, soon got home and went to bed. The next morning, I was on day 100. I had done it. I had completed the 100-day survival challenge. I want to say a huge thank you for watching. I really appreciate all of the kind comments and whatever else you might do, or, you know the whole jazz. Anyway, peace out, amigos. Goodbye.